got some metal for you. And this is Linkin Park. If you haven't heard of them, they are a hip hop, a very hip hop sounding metal group, and they've been around for 15 years now. Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington are the two vocalists of the group, and they've put out a good 5, possibly 6 records since the year 2000. Now, I think to my knowledge, Hybrid Theory was one of the best selling albums of the year 2001. Now, usually that spot is reserved for people like Eminem, Adele, Taylor Swift, and, Bruno Mars and those sorts of people. But this is pretty good for rap metal, and I want that to be highlighted. This is not the album I'm reviewing as their first one. It's the 2007 one. And things got, rap metal in 2007, most people, for some strange reason, were sick of it. I don't know why. It blew its wad. It wasn't 2003 anymore. And, 2007, about 8 years removed from its prime, this was kind of where Linkin Park was kind of contemplating what direction they wanted to head in. And so, as far as I thought with this record, it is weak. I do think it's not the best that Linkin Park can do, but it's still sly enough to warrant you going out and getting it. And the reason why is because they are demons at metal when they pull it off correctly. Now, maybe I'm just overusing the word. You could say they're skilled at metal, but the problem with it is out of 11 songs, they do not flex this muscle nearly enough. And that weakness is going to be shown quite prevalently. It's going to make you wish that they just cut loose a lot more than they did. But can you smoke to this? The answer is there were a lot of songs on the radio that you might have heard, and I think this album lasted into 2008. And so What I've Done is a great smoking song. No More Sorrow. There just really isn't that many good songs on here. Like, it just felt like they did kind of, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but there needed to be a little bit more. We'll talk about the weaknesses, but the production, this is not as hip hop sounding. And the thing is that, well, let's just go to the unheard songs. There's not enough metal songs on here either, which is the weakness of the production. So why do I dislike this album so much, you may be asking. The reason is because they're going in directions that feel like they tried new things, but these did not necessarily catch on as much. They tried mainstream rock, kind of makeshift rock, and they tried a bunch of sing-songy ballads that really were duds. And so what that leaves you with is you're just saying, well, if you didn't want to be seen as a one-trick pony, why didn't you just try to go and become a metal band? I mean, Chester Bennington can sing. He's capable of doing it. They had a formula laid out in front of them. It's like, okay, we don't need the hip hop anymore. Let's just get the guitars and make this one of the leanest records possible that came out in the year 2007. Guess what? They didn't do that. So you're left with 4 songs out of 11 that are actually any good, and even those feel kind of light. So the songs are Given Up, first song you're going to hear, Bleed It Out, What I've Done, and No More Sorrow. The only rap rock song is What I've Done. No More Sorrow is one of the few metal sounding records, and Given Up kind of has like a creeping underground feel to it. But all the other ones were just real ballad, tame type shit. This didn't have any excuse being a metal record. So I am gonna recommend this, but it's not by much. 4 out of 11 is really, weak. So I'm gonna give this album 4 out of 11. It's about 4 out of 10. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 10. I think that's about pretty decent for what it is. And the future, Linkin Park dropped something last year, and I think they've got other things in the works, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for that. The social score, I'll give it a 4 social. I'd give it a higher social score. I don't want to misadvertise this album and, give it a high social and have people thinking that the record is good, because it's not. The music that they could be making, they don't. Even if there was a lot of charting songs, they're not quality. Not every single song that charts on the radio is excellent music, and you should know that by now. So that's why I give it a 4. Can it be top? Yes, it can. Minutes to Midnight, it has a cool sounding album title, but doesn't back up its claims. This wasn't a walking album. So, talk the talk type thing. Alright, subscribe for more fun. I give this album a 3.5 and a 4 social.